Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. In today's episode I will be deploying a web server that will host the PKI certificates in CRL as well as the online responder or OCSP. This server will be Windows Server 2019 and this video is a part of my series on building an enterprise network. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you like this video, please do click the like button. So in the last video, I built out the PKI proxy. This was a reverse proxy that will point requests for OCSP and CRL to the internal HQ PKI web server, which I am deploying today. So let's jump in and begin building this out. So as I stated, we already built out the HQ PKI proxy. And in this video, I will be building out the web server. So let's start that. This will be a 2019 server, so I'm going to use the 2019 server template. So I'm going to call this HQ PKI Web, and then click Next. Select our server and Next. I'm going to customize the operating system and power on after the VM has been created, and I'm going to click Next. I'm going to select the server template and click Next. So the name for this will be HQ PKI Web. I'm going to click Next. So as that is building, what I'm going to do is jump over to the Active Directory domain and Active Directory users and computers. And I'm going to look at groups. So I'm going to create a group in here. And I'm creating this group under the domain SECNET accounts groups. And I'm going to call this CA publishers. And what this group will do is allow the issuing certificate authority to publish the CRLs and certificate files to the web server. So once the computer account has joined, I will add it to that group. So I will let this finish building out and I will return once it's done. Alright, so the server has been joined to the domain and has let me log in for the first time. And I have successfully updated the group policies. So what I'm going to do is change the IP address and move this over to the AAA network. So the IP address for this is going to be 10.0.31.23, and default gateway is 10.0.31.1, 10.0.31.11, and 10.0.31.12. All right, and before I reboot, I'm going to network over. And I'm going to change the network to play. Go ahead and Reboot. So while that's rebooting, I'm going to add in a disk. This will be a 10 gig hard drive that will be used to store the certificates in CRL. It'll never be 10 gigs, but 10 is my default go-to. All right, so now that that is up, I'm going to log in to PKI Web. All right, so now that I've been able to log in, what I'm going to do is refresh this and then take that and move it down to OU that I created. Take this and put it here. Good with that. Now that this is up, I'm going to run a group policy update again. And I'm just going to let that run in the background. First thing I'm going to do is go into disk management, click yes, and I'm going to bring the disk online, initialize, okay, simple volume, drive E, click the label, and then on drive E, I'm going to create a new folder, call it PKI, right click, properties, security. I'm going to add DA publishers group with manageability. Then I'm going to rest. I go into sharing, advanced sharing, share it as PKI. The permissions will be domain users, read, and admins, full control, and CA publishers, change. Close that. Then I'm going to open up Server Manager. So I'm going to click Add Roles and Features. Click Next, Next, Next. I'm going to add the I'll add the certificate role now, as well as IIS. I'm not going to install the certification authority, but I am going to install the line responder. And the only thing, yep, I want to make sure request filtering is enabled. Click next, install. And I will return once this is complete. Okay, so our server roles have finished installing. There are post configuration roles that need to happen, but I'm not going to do that until after I deploy the enterprise certificate authority. So what I'm going to do is minimize this, open up IIS. Going to expand this down, and under the default web server, I'm going to create a new virtual directory. I'm going to call this PKI, and I'm going to specify the folder I created on the E drive, and we're going to do application user. Click OK, and then I'm going to go to request filtering, and then I'm going to allow double escaping. So what I'm going to do real quick while I'm here is drop over to the E drive, create a couple files. First, I'm going to go view and allow file name extensions to be visible. So I'm going to call this index.html, and then I'm going to copy this as CSP. Okay, so that is about the extent of HTML knowledge that I have, but I just wanted a quick test page here. And it looks exactly how I imagine it would look. Probably use an editor to add in some links. Just say PKI server. Alright, so now that that is done, just one more thing I want to do. Alright, so the next thing that I have to do is create a firewall rule. And I can jump back over to this picture. So ultimately, I'm creating a rule that allows the proxy server to communicate to the HQ PKI Web Server. So clients will come into the proxy server will then go out to the web server to build a request. So before that can happen, I have to allow the firewall, I have to permit the connection through the firewall. So I'm going to jump back over to the firewall. So this will be, suppose I could create this rule underneath this one. What I'll do is add, this will be HQ PKI proxy to PKI web of CSP. Well, this will not be a universal rule, but an interzone rule. And this will be from the DMZ, which will be our proxy server that will be destined to AAA network. And I have to create a new record, which will be HQ PKI web.secnetwork.org, and the IP address will be 10.0.31.23. Okay, application will be web browsing, and OCSP. Application defaults, and we're going to allow, so okay. I'm going to commit this and be back once this is completed. Okay, so that is nearing its completion. So what I'm going to do is jump back over to the proxy server. And start the services. I'm going to run systemctl status NGINX, and the service is running. Now, if I go to use a different browser, pki.secnetwork.org, I get what I should get, which is PKI. So in this video, we built the OCSP CRL web server, and we tested connection through the PKI proxy to the server. So that is working as expected. All right, so that's going to be the end of today's episode on building out a web server as part of our PKI solution. If you like this video, please do click the like button. And if you want to see more content such as this, please do subscribe. Thank you.